2.5 years ago, we started the Sons of Anarchy Refuse, and now in March 2025, it is time for the final ride. Welcome back to the channel, Black Widower, Season 7, Episode 1. I can't believe it's been 2.5 years, but by God, Fog Entertainment always deliver, don't we?
We always deliver, and after this season, that's it, the job's done. There's nothing else to deliver on unless Kurt Sutter decides to come back and give us a Season 8. We can pray, we can dream, we can hope, but in reality that's probably not going to happen, so enjoy Season 7 while it lasts, because it could be the last Sons of Anarchy content you see on this channel.
It could be here, but I wouldn't like a Season 8, I would like a brand new show, to be honest, but
I'd take whatever I can get at this point.
To be fair, so would I, but here there would have been a nice wee thing in the intro to say we've went for prospects to presidents, but the reality is we were already president's level knowledge of this show before we started the reviews, so that would be a wee bit disingenuous, wouldn't it?
It would, yes.
We were already sitting at the table.
Yeah, this is not our first ride, nor is it our final ride. Who are we kidding?
Yeah.
We'll be watching this show again at some point.
But in terms of the reviews, this probably will be it. Here, maybe in 20 years, when they release like a remastered edition. I don't know what they'll do in 20 years. TV shows don't really go down that road, but maybe there'll be like a
riding through this world
extended cut. Anyway, there's no time for tears. That might be for that might be for the series finale, but we're here with the series finale, last season premiere. Going to stop saying season. Are you ready?
Aye, just get on with it.
Get on with it. Well, Jax Taylor got on with it. He's in prison 9 days after the death of his wife, and he wastes no time, carves a swastika into some poor bastard. And it won't be the only torture Jax Taylor whips at this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that Jax, I mean, we've seen him do some dark things before, but Season 7, we're going to see a whole new side of him. And I mean, maybe it's a bit unlucky that just because Tara dies, everyone else has to get fucked up, but that kind of seems to be the route that Jax is going down.
No, it is. We see the return of the Grim Bastards, the first time we have seen them since Season 5. It's weird. They had a season off in 4. They had a season off in 6, and now they're back in 7. It must just be the odd number seasons they appear.
I like the Grim Bastards though, so I'm not going to complain.
Sticky, shout out to Sticky. He's in Dexter. Looking forward to seeing him. You ready for that? Dexter. Unser though, he pays a visit to Tara's grave. Tell you what, is it no a bit shite that Tara pretty much gets the exact same grave as Clay Morrow because she was technically a prisoner because she was released on bail?
Yeah, that is a bit shite. It's very undeserving.
I mean, I know Clay didn't actually kill, right, Damien Pope, but the fact of the matter is everyone with 2 brain cells knew Clay was a dirty dog.
Clay was a dirty dog that got put down.
Like, it's just unfair on Tara, to be honest. And Jax didn't get to go to her funeral. It seemed like the shitest funeral known to man. It seems like everything Unser does just goes to shite. And Unser's looking very decrepit. Think he'll make it out of this season?
Hold on, he was looking decrepit in Season 1, so I mean...
He's probably see if they did a prequel, man. The first 9, he probably looked decrepit in that too.
I wonder if Unser can still go dating Callie. I wonder if he could still put on the gloves and...
Put on the gloves. Yeah, he looked alright in Fear, but I mean, that's probably about, what, 8 years ago? Probably approaching 10, to be honest.
The strange thing with Unser is, like, the older he gets in this show, the better detective he becomes.
The smarter he becomes.
It's almost like he just... maybe he feels guilty for years and decades of doing some shady police work. He's like, you know what? I've let this town down. I need to actually up my game and start being a real cop.
Well, let's stick with Unser, right? So essentially, Unser this episode, he picks up Wendy, and then she goes to basically get in with Jax and Gemma. So she's going to look after Abel. That's what the big Wendy's doing this season. She then returns to her flat. Juice is there. In the future, I'll refrain from calling Wendy big, but you know what? This is a big season for Wendy. This is where she takes the mantle, she puts the drugs down, looks after the kids, and manages to escape from this hellhole known as Charming. So you know what?
6 seasons too late, but congratulations, Wendy.
Well done, Wendy. Rounds of applause. But when she returns to her house, Juice is there. I mean, he wasn't quite bollock naked at this point, but he was during the intro. Like, what is he doing? He's a weird guy, Juice. But she eventually lets him stay there after a bit of a talk with Gemma. Gemma turns up at the door. Juice is like, I told her I'm hiding from the club. But Gemma was bricking it here. She thought that Juice was going to maybe let it slip to Wendy that they actually killed Tara and blamed her on the Chinese. But of course, he didn't reveal all that. Unser, though, does his best detective work, it seems like, in years. He comes in, he opens the door, trying to get Wendy a coat for the wardrobe. He looks down, spots a school bag, Sons of Anarchy logo on it. So what's he do later that night? He returns.
Well, I mean, you say good detective work. I mean, it's like... I mean, that's just like adding 2 and 2 together and actually getting 4. You know, it's expected. Like,
No, it is expected, but why was he so intrigued? Do you think when he first seen the logo, he realised it was Juice, or do you think he was like, I'm going to go back and see what this is about?
well, I mean, I think it's more than that. I mean, he's looked around, he's seen the cleanliness, the tidiness of the apartment. He's seen the fridge and the detail and the contents that are in the fridge, and he's like, hold on, this doesn't really strike me as junky Wendy. All this pure orange juice and like slices of fucking cheese, and I mean, it just didn't look like. I mean, Wendy can say, "Oh, I tidied this and I tidied that," but even when she buys the groceries and Unser's like, "Are we bringing these?" She's like, "No." I mean, it was obvious that someone else was staying there.
Yeah, but what I've got to say about that is like,
Oh, why?
he doesn't. My point is, he wouldn't have known it was Juice.
No, he wouldn't have, but he's probably just been nosy, isn't he?
He does have a pretty big beak on him, to be fair.
Probably just thinking, hold on, here, there's somebody living in this house, now I want to find out who.
And he does find out who, because he gets held at gunpoint later on as Juan Carlos Ortiz. I was going to say fucks him into the bath tub, but that wouldn't be the correct line of wording it, was it? Because he may just... Well, he bounds and gags on and leaves him in the bathtub all night.
Bit strange, because he sits in there with him. Why not ungag him and you can have a conversation?
Yeah, maybe that conversation will come in episode 2, but in terms of that wee story arc...
And honestly, man, I mean, Unser doesn't know shit at this point, so I don't know why Juice is fearing Unser. I honestly think that Juice could have just said, I'm staying here, and Juice could have asked Unser not to tell the club, and Unser would have abided.
Do you need my help? Every time you hear that from Unser, you have to go the other way, alright? But Jax Teller, he obviously finishes carving the swastika in to the unlucky inmate. He then meets with Tully, so we get the introduction here of Marilyn Manson's character. Immediately there's a presence here, right? The no eyebrows is a pretty daunting look. And there's mentions of Sobel, Darby, etc, etc.
Nords.
The Nords. I like this throwback to the past, especially with Sobel, because obviously had a few mentions in season 3, but it's good to keep the continuity alive. And I made a vid recently on the channel talking about, someone was like, oh, they should have finished this arc about Sobel. I actually like the fact that Sobel got away. He didn't get away scot-free either. I mean, he did lose his daughter and pretty much got outed as an FBI rat. Not everyone needs to be killed.
Yeah, plus it leaves it open in case something happens down the line.
Yeah, and we don't know what that could be, but I mean, obviously he fled to Hungary. I mean, I don't know if Chibs and Tig at the age of 80 are going to fly all the way to Hungary and, kill Ethan Sobel, but I think there's room for Ethan Sobel to take over another city with the same agenda.
Yeah, there's a possibility, and that's all you want.
Yeah, that's all you want. We've got the SAMCRO, though, there with the Grim Bastards.
See, you don't want it can't be so clean cut where all the loose ends are tied up. I don't think you want that. It's like too clean. It's too perfect.
No, of course you don't. We've got SAMCRO, the Grim Bastards, are basically looking into the Blue Impala, because apparently it ran down one member of the Grim Bastards and 2
You know what?
crossbows.
I actually didn't like this.
I
I thought this was filler. Just the whole, all right, well, we'll help you, Grim, we'll help you, Tio, and I get it, but, I mean, Jax is just out of prison, and he's bursting into some apartment, shoots a couple of priests that are having some sort of orgy, and then
Orgy?
and then the jobbers of the group, right, you just have to take them into the woods and bury them. I mean, I thought there was just too much. I don't think this was necessary in the premiere.
Well, that's a wee bit... I mean, we are skipping a lot of what happened, because we had the wheelchair guy get, attached to the swing set and fucked down the road, which I thought was a pretty funny scene.
I mean, that was a scene. They wanted to extract information from him. The guy's got no legs.
You got any idea what the McScary scumbag talking about?
So they allowed him to feel what legs are like.
Yeah, I mean, I could have swore I've seen this actor before. I mean, he called them the Oreo Bikers. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, see this scene, right? I mean, the whole purpose of why Jax was so hell-bent, I think Jax at this point is just hungry for blood. I mean, they literally bust into this, building in daylight, 20 guys. It was the most dodgy thing I've ever seen. Jax has almost got, a smirk on his face while he's, killing them all. He did say he was helping them out pretty much because he knew the Grim Bastards would owe him later on. And obviously we will find out what that is. But again, I just think Jax he's bloodthirsty at this point.
No, he is. He seems to be willing to take down anybody and anyone that stands in his way.
Yeah,
or
no.
anyone that gets caught in the crosshairs.
He did have a conversation with Patterson, but for me, I mean, I don't really care about Patterson. I mean, she's like, oh, I want the guy that did the right thing 9 days ago. It's like, well, hold on here. His wife was alive. Why should Jax, agree to a deal that's going to lock him up? His wife's dead.
The game plan has changed, Patterson.
Yeah, it's naivety, man, of the highest order here for Patterson. Thankfully, we won't see her for a while, but that's her buggering off at this stage of the game. We then cut to some scenes with Henry Lynn, Alvarez, Nero. They're discussing what is going to happen. Of course, it's going to be black and white against brown and yellow. You better reach out to the darkest hand in the yard. Is Tully going to do that? We'll have to wait and see. SAMCRO, though, Jax basically cuts like a 10-minute promo. He says, if you wouldn't die for the guy next to you, then you need to speak up because we're going to get bloody. And where was this energy, folks, when Happy caught a bullet in the Mayans? Happy, when Chips looks around, brother, we're going to back you forever, then now forever. Tell us what you need, Jackie.
We'll take all the bullets, brother.
There's no way Jax is looking at, West and Montez and be like, aye, these guys, they're going to ride to death to me. I mean, the Death Riders. Really? I wouldn't trust West to make me a slice of toast.
No, going west, going east.
Going south more like, because it's not that good. But yeah, essentially then we get Jax. He meets with Nero, Alvarez, the new president. We got Oscar Ramos. All right. So Stockton, obviously it was hinted later on in the latter stages of season 6 that they were forming a charter in Stockton. And there actually is quite a lot of scenes at this place. You know what? I like Oscar Ramos. I feel like he kind of got done a wee bit dirty in the mines. He could have lasted a wee bit longer into that lore, but a decent character here introduced in season 7. They meet. Jax basically says, right, they're throwing me a homecoming bash, so let's get everyone together. You guys can talk with Connor. They kind of, squish water under the bridge here. Jax is like, oh, my wife, he's like, oh, thanks for the condolences. And then Henry Lynn's, oh, it's an awful thing losing family, obviously hinting at old man Chung. But Jax is like, you know what, he came at us gun-ho. And then Henry Lynn kind of just bottles it. He's like, you know what, yeah, my uncle was like that.
Honestly, I think Uncle was done bad.
No, he was done bad.
I mean, they lured him into that barn, and I think they could have let him live. It's Henry Lynn. Should he have been pushing for revenge? Bit more, I think so.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, I don't think it's not like the Suns went out of their way to kill this guy. It was simply, you know what, 2 birds, 1 stone. We rescue Happy, plus we make the Irish happy with black, and it shows you how strong they are, and then therefore the IRA is going to take the guns off our hands and give it to August Marks. And I think the Chinese, I mean, they are a strong force to be reckoned with, but I think August Marks...
Not at the end of this season.
No, because they will get wiped out in every single fashion. But yeah, in terms of the bodies, we then see Quinn, Montez, and West. Jax is like, right, you guys take them to the Chigga Woods. We're not taking them to Skeeters. We're taking them to the woods. Then we get this scene where it's like pissing down and they dump the bodies. What do you make of these 3? I am shocked that only 1 out of these 3 die this season.
Aye, I mean, West is the unfortunate one to go, spoiler alert, but honestly, Montez could have died, Quinn could have died. I don't think it would have made much difference. I'm glad that Montez survived for the Mayans, but I mean, these guys, they feel like prospects. They do. They honestly, I mean, why not? See, at this point, I think it would have made more sense if they were from a different charter. But for some reason...
hung around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Maybe Jack's just asking for backup because things are getting crazy. But for me, I think it would have made more sense if these 3 weren't actually in SAMCRO. I mean, I get it. There's no more nomads. But, I mean, come on. They might be wearing the SAMCRO patch, but they're not.
They don't feel like SAMCRO. They feel like Sam Dino. Sam Dino Light or something. Terry and the gang over there. We then get the ending montage, right? So, Jax and Chibs, they basically tell Connor how it's going down, right? You give us the locations when Henry Lynn gives it to you, and we're going to shaft him. But at this point, we're thinking, why is Jax and SAMCRO going so heavy on Lynn?
Why do they hate yellow?
Why do they hate yellow? Then we've got like the Bohemian Rhapsody montage here, which I thought was fantastic, by the way. Then you have Gemma talking to this Chinese guy, and we're thinking, right, why is she talking to him? But then Tio was like, well, I'm not going to do it without proof when Jax is asking her this favour. And then Gemma reveals the bombshell that the Chinese killed Tara. But where the Fuhrer is like, no, she didn't, it was you. And it was Gemma that killed her. And at this point, you realise it's game over for Chris Dunn. He is done. I feel sorry for this guy. And you know what? It might not have registered with me on the first couple of watches of this show, but see, the more I actually watch this episode, I think this guy is probably gets the worst treatment out of anybody in this show. I'm not saying his torture was like complete and utter, like it was like the most brutal thing I've ever seen.
But it was undeserved.
He literally didn't do it. Like literally. It wasn't like, someone getting tortured for leverage or information or something along those lines. He was getting tortured for nothing.
He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Crazy. Bobby realised the word to Jax that the bastards have delivered. Gemma is then cutting her own promo in front of Chris Dunn, talking to Tara. Basically like, Wendy's stepping in, Tara. I mean, imagine the gall on Gemma here pretending to talk to Tara. Wendy stepped in, I butchered you in this kitchen where Jax is going to kill Chris Dunn. Get it right, Rooney.
Yeah, I mean, would it have been good to maybe see a scene where Gemma apologises to this Chris Dunn guy?
True, but then what if like Jax takes the gag out and then he's like, here, your mother apologised to me for this?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure if he took the gag out, this guy could have maybe played his innocence anyway. But Jax didn't want to hear it.
No, he could have pledged his innocence and be like, no, Lynn didn't have anything to do with it. Jax wouldn't believe that, but why would he turn around and say, here, why are you saying my mother had something to do with it? I think that would freak Jax out to a point. But Jax is basically ripping the piss at this guy. Right, you're going to say you're just a soldier. You're just one. It was Lynn that actually put the word out. Of course, that's the way it would go. It's not like Chris Dunn would have come up with it on his own, but the reality is he's got to go. Jax sitting there, getting the salt out, getting every weapon out, hammer, tongs, you name it, the kitchen sink, the fork. You've got Happy licking his lips. Bobby, if this happened like a season and a half ago, Bobby would have completely objected to this.
No, I agree. Bobby would have probably been like, we need more proof.
Yeah, maybe Bobby came to the Jax's house in the kitchen because there was a promise of food or something. Tortillas.
Yeah,
Fries.
I mean, I get it. These guys think that he killed Tara, but I don't know. Like, I think a lot of the members are a little bit too bloodthirsty, aren't they?
Aye.
I mean, I like Tig, but he is a sick individual. And I feel like that's the one thing I kind of like about Bobby, and I like about Opie as well, that they are more compassionate members. I mean, Happy's... I find it hard to like Happy because he's just getting... he's totally satisfied watching this guy get fucking tortured. But even if this guy didn't kill Tara, I think Happy's the kind of guy that would just take pleasure in...
Aye, I know, but they thought he didn't. But you know what? It's a weird one, right? Because let's say this guy actually did kill Tara and the club were legit at war with the Chinese. I think this scene, it would feel so much better in a sense. Oh my, yes, they're getting fucking revenge on this. Because like, say they did it to Ethan Sobel, right? Back in season 2 for all the shit he caused.
Yeah, I just felt sorry for Chris Dunn here, but unfortunately had to go.
No, he did have to go. Like, even if like Tig did this to Pope, I mean, I know that was more even, I guess you could say. It was like a daughter for a daughter sort of thing. But yeah, Chris Dunn, salt in the wounds, literally. And then the ending montage, Jax goes behind him as soon as the song ends. Big fork through the skull. Tell you what, that would be sore, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, but how long would you feel it for?
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, how long would you feel it for? I mean, you probably wouldn't feel that, but you probably felt the last 90 minutes of torture, though.
True.
And that's
he took it pretty well, to be fair.
He did. He wasn't greeting too much, to be fair, but there was blood everywhere, man. Blood absolutely everywhere. And that's how the episode ends. It fades to black. That is it for Black Widower. We will rate it out of 10 here. I'm going to give it... I'll give it a 9. I thought the end of montage was pretty brilliant, but again, watching it does make you just highlight how fucking evil Gemma really is.
Yeah, fuck Gemma. Never liked Gemma. I'll give it an 8. I thought it started strong and ended strong, but yeah, in the middle, I mean, there was... I just wasn't a big fan of the whole, oh, look at this, we've killed these priests or whatever, let's dump them. And like you said, about 15 guys in daylight fucking walking into this apartment, with guns out. It felt a bit forced, I think.
Yeah, I think you can look at it two ways. Like, is it forced, or does it just show you like how reckless Jax is going to now become? where he's literally sending his crew on fucking death missions in the ghetto. Just to kill a guy at random, a couple of jobber bastards at the end of the day. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Does that come with the territory of an episode that was like 80 minutes long where you're going to lose the grasp in the middle? Potentially, but here, we've seen plenty of episodes that long deliver across the runtime. So 8.5 out of 10. Till then, peace. Are you alright?
I'm so man.